I'm Black Flag Civilian, and if they can't see you, they can't shoot you. Today, I'm going to show you how to make your own modular patrol tarp, a lightweight shelter that can protect you from both the elements and from being seen by people who want you dead. And what exactly about this shelter makes it good for patrolling or any other outdoor activity? What makes it different from any other tarp or traditional tent? The modular patrol tarp combines the benefits of both a waterproof flat tarp and camouflage scrim. It will protect you from the rain and the snow, and it will conceal you from hostile adversaries or game animals, if that's your thing. And in terms of the modular part of the modular patrol tarp, this tarp uses clip-on tie-outs, which are both quick adjust and quick detach. That makes pitching this tarp fast and simple. Here's what you'll get from this video. First, I'm going to go over the fabrics, the clips, the webbing, all the components and tools that you'll need to make your own modular patrol tarp. After that, I'll show you step by step how to construct one of these yourself. And then I'll show you 5 different ways that you can pitch your tarp. Finally, I'll take this thing into the woods and demonstrate how you might pitch it when your life depends on concealment. All right, let's start with all the components that go into the modular patrol tarp. Right here are all the components you'll need to construct your 5x9 modular patrol tarp. First, we have our scrim. This is a fabric covered in cuts that turn it 3D. As you can see, these particular cuts are made to resemble the shape of leaves. Assuming your camo matches your environment, this kind of material is fantastic at helping you blend in. Next, you're going to need some kind of lightweight sil nylon or sil poly fabric. This is 1.6 ounce sil poly, which means 1 square yard of this stuff should weigh 1.6 ounces. I went with brown to blend in with the forest floor, where this tarp is going to be used most often. Next up is the component that makes the shelter modular. These are quick detach, side release line locks. Let me break down each part of that. Line locks are little plastic parts that allow you to quickly and easily adjust the length of your shelter's guy lines. And these particular line locks are also quick detach buckles, like you might see on a backpack. This allows you to attach any of your different lengths of cord to any part of your tarp, and then make fast adjustments to their length. And we'll be attaching the buckle part of these line locks to the tarp using the next item, flat webbing. Here, I have some 1/2 inch flat webbing in a coyote tan color. A 3/8 inch webbing would have actually fit the line locks better, but this is what I had on hand, and it's going to do the trick just fine. Here, I have some 3/32 inch paracord. It fits these line locks well, and again, it's got a sort of tan to brown camo color to stay inconspicuous in the forest environment where this thing is going to be used. And finally, we'll be sewing everything together using this thread in, you guessed it, a coyote or brown color. And those are all the components we need to make our modular patrol shelter. And as far as where to buy all these components, I've been buying materials from a website called Ripstop by the Roll for years. I give them a strong recommend. A second place that I'd recommend is Dutchware Gear. Really, wherever you can find the stuff, buy it. But those 2 companies should have 90% of what you need for any make-your-own gear project. Unless you want something in cool camo colors, then you're shit out of luck. In terms of tools, it doesn't take much. The most important and most expensive item by far will be your sewing machine. I have a Singer heavy-duty machine here, which will zing through this lightweight fabric. Sometimes you need a machine with a little more power if you're going through multiple layers of thick fabric, say for a backpack project. But for these lightweight tarp shelter projects, a common, at-home, tabletop sewing machine like this one is more than capable. Next up, you'll need a pair of thread clippers to clean up all your threads after you finish sewing. Scissors will work too, of course, just be careful not to slice your tarp with those long arms. Our rotary cutter, as you'll see soon, will be a massive help in making long, straight cuts on our sil poly tarp fabric. It's possible to do this with scissors, just a lot harder. And unless you want to cut the hell out of your tables and floors, you're going to need the next tool, a cutting mat. Your cutting mat is just what it sounds like. It's a safe place to make cuts to fabric using your rotary cutter, your box cutter, or any other sharp tool. They make them in all sizes. The bigger ones tend to get pricey, but they help make your life a lot easier when you're working on a big project like a tarp. And if you want your cuts to be straight, you're going to want some kind of metal straight edge. I use a yardstick. You're going to run your rotary cutter right along the straight metal edge, and that will give you a perfect cut just about every time. And finally, we have toothless alligator clips. These guys are optional, but they make your life a lot easier, especially if you're new to sewing projects. They hold things in place for you, so you can just focus on making good stitches with your machine. And that's all you need to make this shelter. Less than $100 in components and a few $100 in tools. And if Grandma already has a sewing machine collecting dust in her basement, which she probably does, then that's even less for the tools. And with that, let's get working. And here I'm just spreading out the fabric, getting it nice and square on my floor. And I'm just using a storage container cap to give me my 90 degrees. And do the same thing on the other side. Mark everything with a marker. Then I break out the cutting mat. Here, I use my rotary cutter to make nice, clean, straight cuts. And there is our 5 foot by 9 foot section of sil poly. Next up, I need to line this scrim up with my sil poly cut. Luckily, the scrim is about 5 foot wide as it came, so it's pretty close to where it needs to be without me doing anything at all. Here, I fold the sil poly over the scrim. And then I fold it over one more time. As you can see, I'm using those toothless alligator clips. This creates a nice, strong perimeter, and we're about to stitch through the entire thing. Now, onto the short side. Fold your sil poly over your scrim, same as before, and again, fold it a second time. Secure everything with toothless alligator clips. And then sew your short side. Do the same thing for the 2 remaining sides. Here, I need to cut 16 3-inch sections of flat webbing. I'll use this flat webbing to attach my line locks to the tarp. Start with the corners. Again, making good use of those alligator clips. Then, fold the tarp in half. This will show you exactly where to put your midpoints. Repeat on all remaining sides. Next, fold the corner to the midpoint, and this will show you the quarter point. The quarter point is where you will put your remaining 8 line locks. And as you can see here, you should have 16 line locks in total. Now, it's time to sew these line locks to the tarp. Here, I'm using a Z stitch. Repeat until all 16 are attached to your tarp. Again, every stitch doesn't need to be pretty, it just needs to be functional.
Okay, now the tarp itself is complete. Next step, we have to assemble our tie-outs, or guy lines if you're into tent lingo. We're going to make 6 shorties. These will be 3 foot each, then 4 mediums, 8 foot in length, and finally 2 long guy lines, 12 foot each. I trust you can handle the measuring part yourself, so I cut all of my guy lines off camera. The way I like to do this, I'll make a small loop on the side that will get staked to the ground. On the other end, the one where you'll adjust the length, I'll run the cord through the line lock and tie a simple knot to make sure the cord never accidentally tugs through and separates from the line lock. And pro tip, I like to use 1 knot on the short sections, 2 knots on the medium sections and 3 knots on the long ones. This way, I'm never confused which is which, even if all my cords are balled up together and even if I'm setting this thing up in the dark. Do this for all the guy lines you make. With my 6 shorties, 4 mediums, and 2 longs, that makes a round dozen for my setup. And that's it. Grab some tent stakes, and if you want the extra flexibility, a couple of tent poles or trekking poles, and your shelter system is complete. You're ready to set up camp, or your hide. And depending on your environment, there's a ton of different ways to pitch this thing. Let's measure the weight of our modular patrol tarp and then take it outside so I can show you exactly how modular it is. There's no shelter more modular than a flat tarp. Here, I'll show you 5 different ways you can set up this shelter depending on your environment and what kind of weather you're dealing with. And there are many more, by the way. These are just a few simple, common ones. Forgive me if you know them as different names. And before we head out, I'm going to set up the lean-to one more time and throw some extra scrim on top. I'm going to make a few slices with my scissors and save this new cut of scrim for a demonstration later. Now there's 2 buckets of utility that I see for these patrol tarps. One is shelter from the elements, especially at night when you hope to get sleep. The other is as part of a reconnaissance hide, a place where you can stay hidden while you observe points of interest and gain intelligence on whatever it is you need to gain intelligence on. We're going to do a little demonstration of both of these uses. Right now, let's start with a few realistic ways that you might set up your tarp for sleep. First, we're going to pitch our tent in a wedge configuration. But instead of using our poles, we're going to set this up on a tree. And we're pitching it pretty low. Remember, our intention is to stay low profile and catch a little rest before it's our turn on watch duty. Now that we've set back a bit, you see how the wedge sort of just blends into the forest background? It's visible, sure, but it's less visible than if a person were just sleeping against a tree with no patrol tarp at all. For our second sleep concealment demo, we're pitching our tarp in an A-frame configuration. And this time, we're positioning the A-frame up against some vegetation. Whenever possible, combine the concealment of your patrol tarp with natural concealment afforded by nature. These things stack. Now that I've stepped back a bit again, can you see how well the patrol tarp blends in? Again, if a hostile adversary stopped in this exact location and really took in their surroundings, they'd find it. But if they walked by, miles into their own ruck, with their own mission in mind, it'd be very easy to miss you. Nothing is foolproof, but anything you can do to conceal yourself while you sleep or reconnoiter is a hell of a lot better than nothing. Our final demonstration will be a little bit different. This tarp pitch isn't for sleeping so much as concealing you while you're doing a little recon or intelligence gathering of your own. So I'm recording video here looking up a hill from a nature trail. Can you see the hide? Can you see me? Take a moment and see if you can find me. All right, here I am. Now let's take a closer look. Remember that extra piece of scrim I cut earlier? I used it here to add some extra concealment around the front of the lean-to. This allows me to stay at least partially hidden while I maintain full awareness of the trail below me. I also added some natural vegetation to my hide for even better concealment than the patrol tarp alone. Here's what it looks like from the inside. As you can see, there are slices in the scrim for you to peek through, either with your naked eye or some kind of binocular, rangefinder, or rifle scope. This allows you to gather intel without giving away your position. And as I've mentioned in many of my videos at this point, staying hidden, staying unseen, keeps you alive. You should always avoid a firefight when you can. And that's it for the demos. Now it's time to go over our takeaways. Flat tarps have a lot going for them, especially in a civil defense context. Their lightweight, their modularity, their affordability, it all makes them a great option for rucks when you're on a mission and you don't have the luxury of a long, cozy night of sleep. Scrim also has a lot going for it. It hides you from two-legged and four-legged opponents when not being seen means everything. The modular patrol tarp is my attempt to combine the benefits of these two technologies into one item. Not in a silly axe saw kind of way, more in a keep it simple stupid kind of way. Why carry two tools when I can make one that does both jobs well? Also, I hope that this project could be something of an introduction to the wonderful world of make your own gear. When you make your own gear, you can save yourself a lot of money. And sometimes, make yourself something even more perfect for your needs, compared to choosing from a handful of products designed by someone else. If you stuck around until now, thank you. If you'd like to support this channel, please follow the link in this video description to the Black Flag Civilian Subscribe Star page. Any level of support gets you into the BFC Discord server, where we have a mixture of casual community, gear talk, and also serious defense and preparedness education. Until next time, take care of each other.